everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Shelly's Millions. Since I've got so many new subscribers, who I appreciate very much, by the way, I haven't mentioned in a long time that in addition to giving you guys great information on unemployment, because I myself am currently unemployed, my long-term goal is to become a millionaire, and I want to take you guys on my journey to get there. And hopefully, as you guys come along on my journey towards becoming a millionaire, even if you're also on unemployment, that you will find some tips that will help you build your wealth along the way as well. In today's video, I want to talk about how Texas, Arizona, and Montana have all received their sixth payment of the LWA $300 boost, and why that's important for every other state, why that's relevant to all of us. And in addition, 2 of those 3 states have received letters that there's no more funding for them. So week 6 is going to be all that it will be, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit more detail, so make sure to stick around to the end for all that content. So again, thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you are not already subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you could take a moment and like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share the video with someone if you think it is useful. It helps the YouTube algorithm push the channel out to more people. In addition to having you guys do that for my own channel, I want to highlight another great unemployment YouTuber's channel. Her name is Jenny Silver, and I am going to be linking her channel in the description down below, as well as at the end of this video, I will be sharing the link to one of her videos. And I want to know if you guys would like to see us do a collaboration. If you would like to see that, please leave me a comment down below. What I like about Jenny's channel is she focuses a lot on PUA for the people that are self-employed, because that's her background, whereas I am on a regular UI claim. Also, she has figured out how to screen share with you guys, which means that a lot of times if there's a form or something that we're going through, I normally kind of put up a screenshot of it, but Jenny's going to actually have the step-by-step on her computer as you go through that with her. And something else that's different about the 2 of us is she's up north in California and I am in Southern California. And even though she links it in her description, she doesn't always remind you guys that if you're interested in trying out the stock market, that you can get 1 free stock valued up to $1,600 if you use my Weeble link in the description down below. So that's a few of the differences on our channels. There's certainly room for both of us, and I recommend checking her out. She uploads videos pretty frequently, and our content is similar, but a lot of times maybe she's getting that content out faster, or maybe you like her delivery, or maybe you just want to support 2 female entrepreneurs trying to get off of this unemployment cycle for whatever reason. Please go check out Jenny Silver's channel after you watch this video. First of all, it's a really good sign that Texas, Arizona, and Montana have already been paid 6 payments. It's a good sign because FEMA, and I'm going to read it to you in a second, and of course I'll link it in the description down below because I'm not a professional, but FEMA has basically said that they want to try and make sure that the funds for the LWA $300 boost are distributed in an equitable manner. So to me, what that means is they are trying to plan in advance based on unemployment levels and things like that. They're trying to make sure that one state doesn't get more payments than another. And here's what that exact statement reads. It says, question, is this a cumulative $44 billion? That's the available funding for the entire program. Or will states, territories, or the District of Columbia have an individual cap? Answer, this is a cumulative $44 billion, inclusive of administrative cost. FEMA is working to ensure funding is made available for all interested states, territories, or District of Columbia on an equitable basis based on estimated unemployment rates by state territory. So to me, that means that they have tried to allocate the funding so that one state doesn't wind up with more payments than another. So I think the fact that those 3 states have been paid for 6 payments, I think that's a good sign that all of the other states will also be paid for 6 payments. Now, of course, we don't know the time frame to get paid for that. I think most states have been approved for 5 weeks already. So we'll have to wait and see if they actually get approved for that 6th week. But again, based on that statement, I think there is a good sign that most states will be approved for 6 weeks of funding. However, there is something that worries me a little bit in terms of that, and I will go ahead and read that to you next. Okay, so what it says is, are grant dollars pre-funded or reimbursed? Is it first come, first serve with a hard cutoff based on estimated expenditures? Answer. Once a grant is approved, a state, territory, or the District of Columbia will receive an initial obligation of 3 weeks of funding. Once a state, territory, or the District of Columbia is prepared to implement the program, the state, territory will draw down the grant funds as frequently as weekly from the Treasury in accordance with payment procedures for their UI program and consistent with the requirements of the Cash Management Act. States, territories, or the District of Columbia may make retroactive payments to eligible claimants for the weeks ending August 1st to August 22nd, 2020. After the initial 3-week obligation, additional weekly disbursements will be made on a weekly basis in order to ensure that funding remains available. This is similar to the mechanism states, territories use to draw down federal pandemic unemployment compensation program funds. Here's the part that worries me. However, states, territories, or the District of Columbia should apply for grants as quickly as possible given the potential for program termination based on the parameters established. So the concern there is that the program terminates once the $44 billion in funding is gone or the FEMA funds dip below $25 billion. So we know here in California, there's lots of fires right now. There was just a hurricane in Louisiana. Iowa had the storm derecho. So there's been a lot working against us. There's been a lot of need for FEMA funds for programs that are not just unemployment. So the program terminates when the funding's gone. Now, I do think once they've allocated the funding, even though we haven't been paid for the 5 weeks of funds yet, it's my understanding that they have allocated 5 weeks of funding to all the states that have applied. So it's really just week 6 that we're left wondering about. So states, if you have not applied for week 6 yet, go apply for those funds right now. So that would be the only way that one state would get more weeks of payments than another, is if the funding ran out. And in terms of funds running out, Montana and Texas have both received notification from FEMA that there are no more weeks available of funding for them through this program. So the FEMA is estimating that funds have run out after that 6th week for them. So I don't think we're going to see any states getting more than 6 weeks of payments from this program. I think it's going to be 6 weeks. No state's going to get more than 6 weeks. And unfortunately, it would be possible that some states would get less than 6 weeks, but I think it would be a minimum of 5. I think all states have been approved for 5 weeks of funding. And I know it's frustrating because they haven't distributed those funds to the people in a lot of those states. I know I myself am still waiting for any of my payments, any of my retroactive payments, but the timeline is, like, even the EDD said they were going to pay us on a certain timeline, and they haven't. So the timeline on when we will see that money is a little bit up in the air, but just because you haven't gotten paid yet and FEMA is out of funding, FEMA has already given the states enough funding for 5 weeks. It's just a matter of those states distributing it. So if you haven't received your payment yet, if you haven't received all of the retro payments, that is still coming. Here in California, there's different phases. There is still enough funding for those of us like myself in phase 2 to receive our payments. So just because FEMA is out of funding, again, that does not mean that we're not going to get our payments for those weeks that they've already given the states the funding for. In the Senate today, they are trying to pass a bill. A lot of people are calling it the skinny bill. There is $300 for the rest of 2020 through December of $300 a week in that skinny bill. But even if the skinny bill passes the Senate, it still would need to go back to the House to pass, and it may not do that. So many people are saying that that's just a starting point for negotiations because they don't really think this new skinny bill is going to pass. And then as I was getting ready to film this, I haven't had time to read it yet, but it looks like the president is considering more executive orders if Congress can't come to a decision about what the unemployment stimulus should be and for how long and what the requirements are. It does look like the president is ready to step in and take further executive action in order to make sure that the people are not left without payment. So although the LWA program is coming to a very quick end, they're going to come up with something else. But for those people who are in states where you've already received your 6th payment, you're probably not going to get another boost this week. And since there is back and forth in Congress about what to do in terms of getting us more payments, and the president might need to sign an executive order, and then our unemployment offices, depending on how that order is written, are going to need to figure out how to implement those orders. All of that takes time. So right now I'm expecting about $1,500 to $1,800 in total retroactive payments. And those retroactive payments, even at 6 weeks, that only covers the week ending September 5th. So hopefully whatever Congress or the president decide on next goes retroactive to when the LWA program ended. But we don't know what's going on with that, and I do expect that there will be more weeks. I know a lot of us are still waiting on our initial payments, but after those are all cut up, I do think that there could be another lag before we start to see our next payments. My hope is that these next payments won't have the $100 minimum weekly benefit requirement, that we will be insured funding at least through the end of 2020, and that it will be easier for our unemployment offices to implement. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I really appreciate you. Again, don't forget to check out Jenny Silver's channel, and I will see you next time.